Well, welcome to day 106. We are in Samuel and Psalms and Chronicles. Very short one today. The story of David and his beginnings continue. Two main points that I want to make from this is, let me read 1 Samuel 22, verse 2. Then others began coming, men who were in trouble or in debt or who were just discontented, until David was the captain of about 400 men. Okay, so what is happening here is when the king gets a stranglehold on his people, loses control, and so he has to gain control by oppressing his people or making policies that aren't that great. Well, what he does in that same chapter, the king, he turns on people who he thinks are against him. He gets paranoid. Verse 18, then the king said to Doeg, you do it. So Doeg the Edomite turned on them and killed them that day, 85 priests in all, still wearing their priestly garments. Then he went to Nob, the town of the priests, and killed the priests' families, men and women, children, babies, and all the cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats. This is what happens when you have a king or you have a government who loses power over its people. People give up their power and they kind of go along with what's been happening. They get complacent, and that's kind of what happens. And they turned their back on God, and God said, I'm taking the kingdom away from you, giving it to David. So here's part of this. Let me read the next piece and we'll put it all together. Psalms 52, verse 2 and 3. All day long you plot destruction. Your tongue cuts like a sharp razor. You are an expert at telling lies. You love evil more than good, and lies more than truth. So evil continues to do evil, and that's kind of what this is all about. You turn your back on God, and you're really choosing a side, and you continue down that course. We aren't like that. We have God on our side. Yeah, we may stumble and fall, but it comes down to the point where it's very obvious who is evil and who isn't, and who follows Christ and who doesn't. So government oppresses people just like God said would happen, and that's what's happening here. But here's the key. 400 warriors left and joined David. Throughout the experience, more and more people search for goodness. They search for the truth. They search for something that's going to give them their freedom. At first, people are okay giving up their freedom to the king, the government, and allowing them to do whatever it is to keep them happy. But eventually, when the control issue comes into play, people will do anything trying to find freedom. And that's what's happening here. That is day 106. See you tomorrow.